I was originally planning on doing tree trimming today and do the chainsaw comparison kind of review. But where some of the trees are that we want to get at with the tractor, there's a lot of shrubs and bushes in the way. So a better option today is to hook up the backhoe and start to dig out a lot of that stuff and start to actually make the road going up to the garage here. So one of the most important aspects of continual maintenance for a piece of machinery like this is to grease all the zerk joints. So the zerk joints are basically where all the hydraulic pivot points are on a backhoe like this, or on the front loader on the tractor. There's all these joints with pins going through it. And so by greasing it, it allows basically the movement of the pin and the hydraulics to go much easier. And you want to keep it greased up, because if it's not greased up, then it's going to be a lot of metal on metal contact, and then it just basically makes it harder for the machinery to operate properly. So when the backhoe is attached to the tractor, I can get at pretty well every single zerk joints. There are two down here that when the backhoe's on the tractor, it's very difficult to try to get my grease hose down in there and to grease it up. So before we hook the backhoe up to the tractor, we'll grease these two zerk joints, and then once we have it up on the tractor, we'll grease the rest of them. So normally the backhoe's sitting up off the ground here, and I put a piece of 4x4 wood underneath just to hold it up, but I'll have to do an actual proper cradle for it, just because once the hydraulics start to basically release the pressure, it just kind of slides over, so I'll have to do something up. So there's two hoses here which come up and hook up right to the back of the tractor there. Normally this hydraulic hose here is hooked up back into the tractor right here, so that you can control basically the height of the 3-point. But when we're hooking up the backhoe, there's another hose down here for it. So there is one tool here that I want to show you guys before we get going. You might have seen advertisements for this on Instagram. That's where I saw it initially. But this is the Lock and Lube grease adapter, which you can buy the entire grease gun. But it's just the Lock and Lube one. It's just a standard grease gun. But the most important part of it is this coupler here. Let me show you how it works, because it might change how you do greasing in the future. So how this adapter works is you just pull on the little lever here. You put it on your zerk joint, release it, and then just grease from here. The great thing about this is that it locks right onto the zerk joint. Normally what you have to do is kind of fiddle around with it a little bit, and you tend to get a lot of grease that kind of squirts out right at the fitting here. But this is really nice if you're trying to get to a zerk joint that's in a very difficult spot. So you can just lock right onto the zerk joint, but you don't have to hold it with your hand to get the grease to go right into the fitting. So again, there we go. So Lock and Lube sent me this one here, but ever since I've gotten it, it's been much more enjoyable to grease, because there's just not nearly as much mess, and you get more of the grease actually going into the joint as opposed to just squirting out right at the zerk joint there. So if you want to try one of these guys out, I'll leave a link to Amazon and their website there. And I think these fittings are around $30 or so. but it should work with pretty well any grease gun that you have, so you don't have to buy their grease gun, but you mainly just want this fitting here. And one thing that I've also noticed is that on certain joints that it's very difficult to get grease into. This gets the grease actually in there because the fitting doesn't want to pop off, so it really gets that grease going in there. So I definitely think it's a worthwhile investment if you do a lot of greasing like this. So I widened the driveway a little bit on that side and quite a bit on this side here. So a semi should be able to pull up kind of on the right shoulder here. I'm still unsure of that tree right there, whether or not it needs to be taken out yet. But I think there's enough space coming all the way up here to make that turn to go up towards the house there. Anyways guys, got a good amount done today, just for only working on this for about 4 hours. I would have liked to have done more work on the backhoe, but I didn't want to leave our driveway really kind of all like messed up. So we'll keep working our way up, and then we can easily get to some of these trees here and these trees over here as well, and trim those bad boys up and just keep our driveway going up there. Awesome guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon.